Don't believe anything I say. The words can become transparent. Enlightenment for an individual is a myth. Any attempt to escape the dream is futile. The fog lifts when conceptual knowledge relaxes. The knowing of what this is seen not to refer to anything. Seeing through the assumption that I shouldn't be suffering. This thought actually refers to nothing. It's completely ephemeral. It's empty. It dies as it's born, unless there is a momentum of perpetuated belief in it. You are not the content that appears, no matter what it seems to think, feel, or do. It says nothing about you. It isn't telling the truth. It's only innocently expressing. Where you seem to be has never mattered, actually. The play is the point. Nothing needs to start or stop in the content for the fog to lift. There's no working hard to get to this. Everything was effortless. All the striving, suffering, seeking, that which appears as choice or action, all of it happened automatically, without an agent. It's a very convincing illusion, and that is all it can be. Never attaining is heaven. This can sound disappointing, but it is this futility that gives birth to hopelessness, dispassion, and disinterest in the conceptual content that claims and owns what appears. This natural state of bewilderment and unknowing is without illusory arrogance of self. The truth will set you free, but first it will piss you off, as both of these perspectives are equally this unfathomable phenomenon of nothing as everything. Interest can relax in yourself as content. An obviousness of what you are not you can't return to where you never left. A seeing that you have never actually sought. There is no problem to solve. There never was, and there never will be. And no entity that might solve a problem. There is dynamic action in timeless flow. It claims to be an entity called me. And you bought it. Hook, line, and sinker. Innocently. Playfully. But concepts and beliefs are only relevant to concepts and beliefs. The illusion of self is only real to itself. It was but a mirage. This is painfully simple. Suffering is always and already free to arise as a thought that is believed, that says it shouldn't be this way. It should be the way that I imagine it should be. That thought is never true and is the purest expression of resistance. No one does this, and no one does the beating of the heart. There is no one to attain a sense of resonance with what simply is. Resistance is it too. This can simply be recognized. That what is, and it's not up for debate in this immediacy. The illusion of agency atrophies and bleeds out into the futility of this chaotic seeming phenomenon. Without the belief in a continuum, this is spotless, immaculate, untouchable. This wild freedom has never been tamed. It only pretends to be, because it can. Nothing needs to be done about what seems to be. It's already gone. There is nothing to escape this, control it, or make it stop. Arguing with reality isn't wrong. It's what reality is doing when resistance appears. The purity of the expression of insanity and psychological suffering for the sake of its very apparent existence. It's completely understandable why this agency appears. It comforts itself with concepts from the visceral, chaotic freefall that it is. A trip for the sake of tripping. Samsara is nirvana. The paradox is the wholeness itself. This is perfect imperfection. Who is there to resist resistance? It's the cosmic joke of unadulterated freedom. The illusion of self is only sustained in an incubator of knowing what the hell this is. Why? How? Symbols are twice removed reflections of this unfathomable wholeness. There is no truth, comfort, or safety that isn't imagined as the only thing there is. Nothing. The rug of knowledge is pulled, and emptiness remains. The projected self and the need to know never actually existed. It's a daydream that's so real and convincing that nothing escapes it. The confusion and the clarity were always one and the same. It's a singular, alive wholeness. This separation appearance is dust in the wind, as this infinite seamlessness. The dream was always no other than this. Everything is one thing, and that is already liberated. No one becomes enlightened. It's simply seen to be the case already. Impersonal. This is cessation. Clarity is just a recognition that there was never an independent movement from or towards this. It merely seemed that way. The illusion of self can never get this. It is this. Awakeness isn't personal. It just is already. The mystery is complete, no matter how it appears. It's all-encompassing. This is the playing of God. Arrogant and self-centered. And there is no evidence whatsoever that there is anything inherently wrong with it. As the illusion of self arises, it seems to be. And when it causelessly falls, it's seen to have never actually existed. The rising and falling of all things becomes simply what it seems to be, as it always was, devoid of meaning, purpose, or intention. No one to determine the value of appearances in relation to me. Life never needed a self to be what it already is. Everything. Nothing. And yet, life is free to express as a self, like a child who inexplicably chooses purple as their favorite color, just because. Nothing is needed, nor denied. It's all already free to be, no matter how it appears. Like any natural phenomenon, the illusion of self rises and falls spontaneously when it does. There can be a wanting to know that I exist, the recognizing that we are not autonomous individual beings can be terrifying to the human nervous system, a falling feeling. The illusion of control breeds great suffering, and yet somehow, as it is the known, it is comforting. But this is the unknown. When utter confusion arises, as a runaway train of convoluted symbols and images, infused with belief and meaning. Can't you see how clear it is? It was always clear. It is clearly this, clearly appearing as confusion. Identity is ever freely allowed to be. There's nothing wrong with it. It's but a fleeting expression within you, dead before it's born. All judgments, assumptions, and claims are wildly free to arise. Why wouldn't they be? Thought and word are already liberated to be expressed, believed, diluted. But you will never be liberated, not as this idea of individuality. This is freedom from the self, not for the self. What you really are is too vast to fathom. This isn't just difficult to speak on. It's impossible, due to the dualistic nature of language. There is no thing that can be concluded that its opposite is not equally true. All truth is relative in this alive wholeness. Knowing is never needed, nor even possible. And yet, what appears as knowing is always free to arise. There has never been a true word spoken, not in a meaningful sense, that it actually symbolizes anything substantial. It's only real as a vibrating sound appears and disappears. In this enigmatic tapestry, as empty as the wind blows. Yet here it is. The freedom of this to play. The attempt to describe the indescribable. Unconditionality whispers to itself, always returning to the stillness from which it came. The stillness that it is.